Hi friends! Today we're going to talk about how to plant, grow, and divide hostas. And I just love hostas because there are so many wonderful garden applications for the shade-loving plant. You can use them as a ground cover in a shady location. They can be used in place of grass that's hard to grow under the shade of mature trees. Or what I like to do is use them as companion plants to spring blooming bulbs, because right as the tulips and the daffodils are starting to fade and their foliage needs to be left in the garden to die back naturally, the hosta foliage is pushing through the earth and will unfurl at the exact right moment to cover the dying foliage of daffodils. Now, whether you're planting bare root hostas like me, a potted hosta, or a division of a hosta from a friend, the key is to plant the crown, which is the location where the roots meet the shoots, so right here, even with the soil surface. So let's go ahead and plant some of these bare root hostas together. Hostas like full to part shade and consistent moisture. And I have a large drift of hostas running all throughout this shade garden, and it's located under the canopy of large established fruit trees. Now, the one difference with a bare root hosta, especially if you live in a wet climate like me, is that I like to make a little mound for hostas. So the root system on this bare root hosta is about 6 inches. So I'm just going to loosen the soil to a depth of about 6 inches. Now that the soil is nice and loose, I'm going to make a mound of soil, just like you would make if you were planting an iris rhizome. And this helps a lot with settling that can occur in wet climates with bare root plants. Now what I'll do is set my bare root hosta on the soil mound so that the crown is even with the soil surface, and then I'll just spread out its beautiful fleshy roots all around the mound, and then I'll fill in around with soil. And you see I'm planting it pretty close to my daffodils so that they'll work together. And there we have it. And now we'll just water the hosta in well. And hostas really appreciate being planted in early spring. The cooler temperatures and consistent moisture really helps them to root in and become established quickly. Now, if rain is not common in your area, watering weekly for that first initial year will really help them take hold. But they're a wonderful, easy care plant that, once established, can live for decades. But let's say you have an older hosta and maybe you want to take divisions of it or just share some with a friend. Let's go ahead and address how to do that next. The best time to divide hostas is early spring, right as the foliage starts to push through the earth, but before the leaves have started to really unfurl. And it got so hot here in Pennsylvania the last 2 days that it really pushed my hostas a little bit further than I would like. But that's still okay. Let's go ahead and dig this one up and divide it together. I've cut all around the hosta, so now we'll just pull it up. And now I'm just going to locate where there's some natural openings in between the hostas. And I'm going to use my shovel to cut this into pieces, but you could also use a large knife if you prefer. So from one hosta we can get 1, 2, and now here's 3 and 4. And really I could divide this even more if I wanted. But it's so easy to just start a few hostas from bare root plants, and quickly as the years go on you can have more and more hostas via these divisions. And what I'll do now is just immediately plant them back into my garden, but instead of 1 hosta, now I have 4. Now thankfully the weather here in Pennsylvania this year has been really beautiful, and I've been able to get out into the garden and plant my bare roots straight away. But some years the ground is still frozen when I receive my bare roots, or sometimes we're even covered in snow. And for that, what I like to do is just plant my bare roots directly into pots and grow them on inside my house on a sunny windowsill or under grow lights until the ground is workable. And these are all the exact same plant. The only difference is this one just came out of the packaging, and these ones I've been growing inside for about 7 to 9 days. So this is a great option if you want to get started on your bare roots, but you're not ready to get out into the garden quite yet. And the last thing to note is that deer love hostas just as much as we do. So planting them in a fenced-in location or close to the foundation of your house is a good choice. You could also try spraying them with a deer repellent, but just know that these are a tasty treat to deer. So it's definitely something you want to think about if you have deer in your location. Happy gardening. Bye.